What's up, guys? Go ahead.
Kyle, what was the decision to release Greg Joseph? Can you explain that?
More just the roster numbers. I would have loved to keep him longer, allow them to play that out longer, but just, we had 13 guys out of practice today. We got 5 guys on PUP. It's just too many people to have that luxury. It's awesome to have 2 kickers, allow them to battle, but they're not guys who really take reps. We need more people to take reps for us.
What do you consider the competition final then?
He's not here, but there's never whether you have 1 kicker in the building or 2, which you rarely have 2, kickers always know they're competing with whoever's out there. So I don't see it much different.
Do you have enough numbers to do this thing with the Broncos, or last year with the Saints you had to cancel it?
Yeah, it's easier when it's one day than 2, and we'll have to be smart at some positions. I'm sure they have some issues too. I'll talk to Sean here the day before, and it's such good work that we'll find a way to make it work.
What do you like about Carter Bradley more than Mordecai that caused you to?
Really, we brought him in not thinking we'd make a move that day, but he did so well in our workout that went back and watched his 38 passes that he had in the preseason last year, and we wanted to get him in here so he could compete with Tanner. Then after some of the things that happened in practice, last practice, losing a number of D linemen, we just couldn't have the luxury to have 2 of them, especially with Rourke being on PUP too, because he's got to count. So. Maybe there's a chance we can get Tanner back. We'll see how this roster goes, but we'd like the chance to work with Bradley right now.
Is also dealing with an injury?
No, we just gave him today off, that day.
Check.
Kyle got his Achilles stepped on, just cut it, a little sore and stuff, so he's day-to-day with that.
Any of the recent injuries, longer than day-to-day, more serious?
Yeah, Kevin Givens hurt his pec, similar to last year, so he's going to be out for a while. That'd be sometime during the season. Sam O going to be out probably a couple of weeks, most likely, with a groin injury. Isaac Garendo, shoulder injury. He's going to be out for a few weeks also. And those are the main ones. What's that?
Evan Anderson.
Evan is about this week. We're hoping. He's got a knee bruise. Those can get better in a day. Sometimes they take a week, so we just got to see how that goes. Ankle. He might try to get in later in this week. Just a thing that he got surgery on this summer. Just flared it up a little, and we're just being smart with him right now.
Anything new on Juwan Jennings?
Same thing with his calf.
It's definitely health related, not business related.
You can ask him that, but he tells me it's his calf, and the calf shows, so it's got to be delicate with those calves.
The fact is Moody, I don't know, offering at least some evidence that he's kind of steadying himself and some things out.
It shows he's kicking the ball real well right now, which he is. So is Greg too. But Mooney's got a lot of talent, and he's been kicking the ball very well, and hopefully that continues.
Ricky had a nice practice on Saturday. What have you? I know his progress is going up the more reps he gets, but what have you in particular seen from him?
Really, that he's just getting back into it. I thought he had his best practice last Saturday, and maybe had a better one today. So his reps are finally going up. He's been allowed to get into one-on-one here the last couple of days. His reps are getting there closer to the normal reps for all the other receivers. I think his first normal day will probably be versus Denver. But he's almost fully back, and that'll allow him to go through some things to get better and prepare for the year.
How much has Upton improved this offseason? How well is he playing right now?
I think he's doing a real good job. I thought he had a hell of a training camp. So, he was a guy that, knowing that nickel position was open, that was one of the reasons we invested that draft pick, and I'm hoping he can come in and do it right away. And he looked that way in OTAs, and he's looking that way so far now.
Bullis was saying yesterday that he's stout, like watching old film all the time. He's always very early. Have you seen that from him too? What does that say about just him as a rookie? As kind of a
yeah, it's he's made of the right stuff. Like a lot of guys got to learn it, but he hasn't had to learn it. You can tell he was that way in college because he came in right away like that. He's on everything. He's one of the bigger competitors that I've seen coming in as a rookie, and every day he's doing as much as he can on and off the field, and that's why he's passing a lot of guys up.
What are your impressions of the O-line the first half of camp?
I think, our starters, just the same as always. I think they've done a solid job. It's been nice to get Barch back in there, missing the first 2 weeks. So I think this was his 3rd practice with no setbacks, so that's encouraging. And then all the guys after those, and we've got a group of young guys. We have some one-year guys we brought in as free agents back in January or at the end of last season, and those guys are competing. We got to see how our backups end up. We know we got a new left guard with losing Banks, but after that, it's open for all the depth at everywhere.
He delivered so much last year as a rookie, and then in theory he takes an even bigger jump this year from first year to second year. Are you seeing that?
Not yet. I mean, well, tell as the year goes. I mean, he jumped out the gate so fast last year because we had an injury to our starter and our backup within the first 2 practices, so he got thrown in there right away. Had a hell of a year. He's doing a good job as usual, but right now we're in the middle of camp. All those guys are pretty tired out there, but I always say you're getting better or worse, so I hope he takes a step forward this year.
Is Michael's ankle injury still hindering him in any way?
No. I mean, we give him a rep count and stuff. You know, we're careful with him on it, but it's not a high ankle sprain or anything like he had last year. He zinged it a little bit ago, but it wasn't a high ankle, so we're just always aware of that and careful.
Matos out there on the sideline, well, not on the sideline, but in between both fields. Do you know when he's expected to
We're hoping
return?
Raiders week. Yeah, we've started to rep up his D-line work and stuff off the field, so hopefully he'll have a chance next week.
Is Renardo Green still on track for the Raider week too?
Yeah, same thing.
Kyle, last year you guys were 32nd in wide receiver separation. This year you're adding a lot of speed. Isabella today chosen. Is that by design? I mean, do you have a change in philosophy with what you want to see at wide receiver?
No, we just try to get the best available. Sometimes that's the fastest guy available. Sometimes it's the biggest, strongest. I mean, whatever it is. But, you know, you try to always have 12 guys in training camp, and we got a few guys that are hurt and can't go, especially with BA because he's got to count on your roster with him being on PUP and everything. So we're down on numbers there. Those guys run all camp, and would always love to add more speed and if it's available and if they're good players. And those were 2 guys who can run that we were happy to add. You know, Isabella went down with an ankle today, so I know he had a setback, so we didn't get him out there today. Hopefully it's not too bad, though.
Was chosen one of the guys who, like, because he's familiar with the system, was it easier to...
If they have familiarity with the system, it makes it a lot easier. Sometimes when you sign a guy, you need those reps, but they can't line up for about a week. So anytime somebody has crossover, it helps them get in there and help out the other guys faster.
March was a tight end for most of his life, you know, until later in college. Can you see, like, just with his movement, I don't know, just things he can do with his body that lends itself to, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Is he more athletic?
Yeah, he is. No, he's wired right. We love his talent level in that way. I think a lot of guys who move like that, they did play other positions as they grew up. You know, I remember, I think when we drafted Dwayne Brown at Houston, I remember him being a tight end going into college. Trent probably could have played whatever he wanted to. But yeah, those guys, the athletic ones, aren't always O-linemen their whole life.
How was Luke Farrell's acclimation to the system?
He's done a good job. You know, we brought him in here because we think he's a really good blocker and definitely can do some things in the pass game. We're asking him to do some things he hasn't done before, starting back into OTAs, and he's been very conscientious of it, getting all the reps of it, and I think getting better at what we're asking him to do each day.
Kyle, how valuable is the joint practice considering probably your ones are mostly going to go there and not play a lot this preseason?
I think it's real valuable. I mean, sometimes you can't do it. I'd always would like to do it. I am more excited just going against someone once. In the past, I've always done 2 days, and I'm always really excited. By the end of the first day, I'm always wishing we didn't have to go the second day. So I'm kind of glad we're ahead of that on this. And it's always good to go against different schemes, too, different players. We're going against each other every day, same guys, same scheme. It gets a little bit old, and it's a good way to switch it up.
Why the preference for just one day?
Because usually the second day is just whoever does better the first day. Usually they get killed the second day and everyone ends up fighting, and it just ends up not being worth it. So I think one day should be a little easier.
Look forward to practicing against Huff and Greenlaw if they're out there.
I love seeing them. Don't really like practicing or playing against guys that I really like and have a lot of love for, but I'll enjoy seeing them.
In these joint practices, Kyle, will you get on the horn with Peyton and hammer out a script, or is that somebody on your staff that does that? And is there some flexibility on the day of the practice to kind of switch it up?
Yeah, always. You always got to work together, especially you understand what each teams are going through, and you got to see how they are. Usually the team always sends over suggestions, and the home team kind of picks out what you do. They send a bunch of stuff over. We worked on it yesterday when the players were off, and I'm sure Sean and I will talk the day before he gets here.
Did you watch the Hall of Fame game? Were you pleased to see Trey Lance play well?
I didn't watch it, but very pleased to see him play well. I'm always pulling for Trey. I love Trey.
Broncos defense was very good last year. It might be better this year. Are you curious to see, just how your offense? I don't know. It's joint practice, not the end of the world, but I mean, some curiosity to see how they fare against the Broncos.
Definitely. I mean, and not just our offense, our whole team. I think the Broncos have a very good team. I think they were sneaky good last year. You could see them improve throughout the whole year. They got a bunch of real young, good talent, and they had a bunch of real good players. So expect them to be one of the better teams in the league this year.
So how do you kind of approach practice, and maybe you can or cannot tell us, but for tomorrow, being that you guys are off on Wednesday, do guys like Bosa, CMC, Juice, are they all back out there, or?
Yeah, we'll get all those guys back out there. Tomorrow will be like, we have low, medium, and high days. It'll be a medium day for us with reps. On Wednesday, we won't have them practice, but we'll walk through Denver stuff so they have an idea, knowing what fronts and stuff and schemes they're going against. And then Thursday should be our most reps of any practice. And we try to build up to 40, and that's our first day of that.
In your plan, do you have a plan for the preseason game at all about who's going to play? And
Not yet. We'll decide that after the practices, but we don't play mini starters in the first game, but definitely don't just rest all 22 either. So we got to figure out how to get through the game, what's best for our guys, what's best for our team, and I got an idea of it, but got to watch how these two practices go first.
Some coaches think that you could get more from these joint practices than the actual preseason games. Where do you stand?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, you know what you're going to get. You can set it up, and you can make sure everyone gets a certain amount of work. You get into certain games, and there's certain things you'd like to see, but you're competing and stuff. You don't always know what's going to happen, who's in there, the type of groups there are and stuff. Sometimes you have one guy you want to see in there, but you can't do certain things because of the rest of the group that's in there. So usually in practice, you can make sure you get to see all the stuff you want.
I was talking about BA's presence since OTAs as a player coach. How important or valuable has it been to keep him engaged in that way and helping along some of the younger guys and you guys in that room?
I think it's very valuable. I mean, it's so hard on these guys when they're hurt because meetings aren't the most fun. And when you go out there and watch football, all you do is think about how bad it sucks that you're not playing. So that stuff wears on those guys. And they focus on the rehab and so much to get back. But then when you get back, you're a little bit rusty. You don't hearing things every day. And it's so good to have BA in the meetings, out on the field, doing all that stuff. So when he is ready to go back, he can leave right where he left off.
I've read something somewhere, sorry, real quick question, since you mentioned BA being out there. He's interested in leading the wide receiver meetings. Now, they could be fake, but I did read that on Twitter.
I missed that on Twitter, but I mean, I hope our receiver coach is leading the meetings, and I hope BA is very involved. But I'll check with Twitter.
Kyle, Greg Papa, always around in the building. Just how much has he been missed this summer?
We love having Papa around. He watches everything, eavesdrops sometimes a little too much. We got to back him up. But no, we love Greg. I love doing my TV show with him. He's been awesome. I was telling my kids about that, and my youngest daughter didn't know his name, and then Carter imitated his voice when the Niners scored touchdowns and stuff, so she knew exactly who he was then. But Greg's awesome. We're all pulling for him, and he's in a battle, but a battle we know he's going to win. All right, thanks, guys.